As of yesterday, the former Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, addressed one of the most uh, sensitive matters involving the Kenyan government and its involvement in the Sudan war, where he accused President William Ruto of being in business with the general who is leading the RSF, the strongest Sudan militia, led by General Hemedti, where Gachagua claimed that one General Hemedti has been transacting gold businesses with William Ruto for a very long time. But as of right now, allow us to diverge deep into the funding of the Sudan militia called RSF and who really have been funding these militia and where their money comes from and where President William Ruto comes in this whole scandal. In April 2019, Sudanese social and political upheaval resulted in the removal of President Omar al-Bashir. After nearly 30 years in power, Sudan has now entered a new period where civilians share power with the Sudanese military in the ruling Sovereignty Council. A militia named the Rapid Support Force (RSF) is the most powerful paramilitary force in Sudan. At the head of the RSF and vice chair of the Sovereignty Council stands a man named Mohammed Emdit Amdan Daglo. Emdit first rose to prominence in the year 2003 as one of the leaders of the Janjaweed, a paramilitary force deployed in Darfur which killed scores of civilians. Most recently, numerous witnesses accuse Hemedti's RSF and Sudanese police of massacring pro-democracy demonstrators at a sit in Khartoum on that June 2019. With human rights groups reporting over 100 people killed, these killings fit a pattern of human rights abuses committed by the RSF and their predecessors, the Janjaweed. In Sudan, western region of Darfur, Hemedti has denied the RSF was involved. Now, an apparently genuine cache of linked documents obtained by Global Witness show the financial networks behind Hemedti and the RSF. Not only have they captured a large part of the country's gold industry through a linked company, but the linked bank data and corporate documents show their use of the front companies and banks based in Sudan and the United Arab Emirates. Some of the bank and corporate documents were originally published by the satirical Sudanese online channel AI Bashum, while others were obtained by Global Witness in the course of our investigation. Global Witness has verified the documents using interviews, corporate records, and open source investigative methods, including analysis of website infrastructure information. Now, it have been concluded that the leaked documents are, in our opinion, likely to be genuine. In part two of the investigation, the information was published in the conclusion. A leaked RSF spreadsheet, also published by Al Boshom, revealed how they bought a fleet of almost 1,000 Toyota pickups trucks, easily converted into highly mobile technicals with mounted machine guns, which have been used by the militia to suppress popular uprisings around the country for over a decade. Video footage taken uh, back in June 3rd show how large numbers of police and RSF militia arrived in Toyota Land Cruiser and Hilux vehicles, while to be certain the vehicles uncovered in the evidence were the same ones used by the RSF and police on that June. Global Witness found dozens of videos on social media of similar vehicles, including from either shipment being used to suppress demonstrations, beat and arrest protesters, and to incriminately shoot in civilian areas. Now, this briefing provides a rare glimpse into the finance of the RSF an organization whose militia power and financial independence poses a threat to a peaceful democratic transition in Sudan. The rise of Hemedti. Hemedti grew up in a camel herding and trading clan in Darfur, Western Sudan. He first rose to prominence in the year 2003 as one of the leaders of the Janjaweed, a paramilitary force deployed by former Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir in Darfur to suppress an insurrection. The Janjaweed displaced millions and played a dominant role in a conflict in which an estimated 300,000 civilians were killed. This led to an investigation by the International Criminal Court (ICC). Hemedti was enough of a prominent figure as to feature in the ICC prosecutor's application for an arrest warrant for President al-Bashir for genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. As violence again intensified in Darfur in 2013, Hemedti led the newly formed Rapid Support Force in fighting Darfur rebels, again with many accusations of human rights abuses against civilians. The RSF incorporated thousands of former Janjaweed fighters. Hemedti reported first to the security services and then directly to al-Bashir in a parallel structure to the regular military. Hemedti and the RSF subsequently profited through the takeover of the Jebel Amr gold mines in Darfur. The RSF's provision of mercenaries to fight in the Yemen, reportedly paid for by the UAE, also offered another source of revenue. The RSF were rich enough for Hemedti to pledge over $1 billion to help stabilize the Sudanese central bank in the aftermath of the economic crisis and protests which led up to the ousting of President al-Bashir in April 2019. At the time, Hemedti claimed we put $1.07 billion in the Bank of Sudan. The funds are there available now, and that the RSF supported the state at the beginning of the crisis by buying the essential resources, petrol, wheat, medication. He went on, people ask, where do we, the RSF, bring this money from? We have the salaries of our troops fighting outside and our gold investment, money from gold and other investment. The network of front companies and banks supporting the RSF. Through our investigations, it reveals for the first time the mechanism enabling the funding of the RSF and details the powerful grip Hemedti and his immediate family have over the finances of the militia. This section focuses on the income of the RSF, while the next section focuses on the expenditure. Alongside payment for the provision of mercenaries to Yemen, a key element of the RSF's income comes from their apparent association with major gold trading company Al Gunad. Together, they appear to have effectively captured a large part of the gold market in Sudan. The militia also uses front companies and maintains bank accounts in the UAE and Sudan to receive funds. Al-Bashir, a Sudanese satirical and anti-corruption Facebook page, has published what purport to be bank transactions, describing them as leaked from support companies of the RSF. The leaked documents, together with official corporate records and archived versions of company websites, appear to show that two RSF front companies, GSK, a small technology and security company based in Sudan, and Tradive General Trading LLC based in the UAE, are both controlled by one of Hemedti's young brother. JSK is no way related or connected to GlaxoSmithKline, the multinational pharmaceutical company. Tradivine seems to have funneled money into the RSF, while individuals associated with GSK are involved in the RSF procurement process. The RSF also appear to have close financial ties with Al Gunad, a large gold trading and construction group based in Sudan, held by another of Hemedti's brother, who is himself deputy head of the RSF. Now, the linked back documents appear to show that the Rapid Support Force (RSF) hold an account under their own name at the National Bank of Abu Dhabi, now part of the First Abu Dhabi Bank. This provides evidence of the financial autonomy of the RSF. Despite an ambiguous law of 2016 placing the militia under the control of President as Supreme Commander of the Sudanese Armed Forces, it is suggested that the RSF might not be under the financial control of the military, let alone the civilian elements of the Power Sharing Sovereignty Council. When contacted by Global Witness, a spokesperson for the Sudanese military denied that the RSF had a separate budget from the Sudanese armed forces. First Abu Dhabi Bank, as the owner of and successor company to the National Bank of Abu Dhabi, hadn't responded to requests for comment by the time we are bringing this story to you. Now, the bank documents appear to show money flowing back and forth between the RSF bank account and the account of a company called Turbine General Trading LLC. Crediting notes for Turbine seem to show that it received almost 50 million dirhams, which is equal to 11 million US dollars from the RSF in four installments in April and July 2019. An outward customer transfer report from July 2019 as the RSF bank account being paid 48 million dirhams, which is equal to 11 million US dollars by Turbine. Global Witness has seen information from the Dubai Department of Economic Development that confirms Hemedti's brother, Algoni Amdan Daglo, is a direct and an ultimate beneficial owner of Turbine. In one of the bank documents, the purpose of the funds transfer from from Tradive to RSF is described as transfer to a sister company. In the opinion of Global Witness, Tradive is probably an RSF front company funneling money into and out of the RSF, at least partly in order to obscure the involvement of the militia. Tradive itself holds an account at the Sudanese Al Nilain Bank in Abu Dhabi. Al Nilain did not respond to a request for comment on its relationship with Tradive. Now, when you look at this, President William Ruto, allow me to conclude, because the information published by the Global Witness and the expose on the involvement of different governments all over the world in funding the RSF is one for the books. And when I say this, we all look at this man who has been exposed several times, where Gachagua claimed Hemedti, the man has been in communication with President William Ruto, where he has been bringing gold, he has been transporting gold to Kenya, where President William Ruto has been selling the said gold to Dubai, to Qatar, and through the selling of the said gold, President William Ruto offers certain amount of money to RSF or to General Hemedti. So it's a transaction. Remember, currently we are receiving news that the Sudanese government has begged and asked the AU and the United Nations to intervene after the RSF signed a charter in Nairobi. The Sudanese Foreign Ministry has called for the intervention of the African Union and the United Nations after Rapid Support Force (RSF) signed a charter in Nairobi. In a statement issued on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, the ministry stated that the move by the Kenyan government to welcome the signing of the political charter by the RSF not only poses a serious threat to the regional peace and security, but also violates international system sovereignty. The ministry added that the country will continue to take drastic security measures. This requires the African Union, the United Nations, and all international and regional organizations to play their role in the face of this serious threat to regional peace and security, tampering with the foundations of the contemporary international system and encouraging the fragmentation of African countries and the violation of their sovereignty. The government of Sudan will continue to take steps to respond to this irresponsible and hostile behavior. The statement from the Sudanese Foreign Ministry read in part. Now, in the statement, the Sudanese government also called out Kenyan's Prime Cabinet Secretary and CS for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, for welcoming the signing, noting that the deal the RSF group signed was not a peace deal but was to form a parallel government. The Kenyan Minister and Foreign Minister the Kenyan Prime Minister and Foreign Minister issued a statement on his official website on the X platform, welcoming the signing of the so-called political charter between the terrorist Janjaweed militia and its followers to form a parallel government. This agreement calls for tearing Sudan apart by recognizing the right to self-determination for what it called the Sudanese peoples and regions. Contrary to the Kenyan leadership's claim that the meetings of the terrorist militia and its supporters under its sponsorship aimed to discuss achieving peace, the participants in the signing sessions chanted slogans calling on the militia to invade specific Sudanese cities and regions to continue ethnic cleansing and genocide, as it did in Jenaina, Armadata, the villages of Al Jazeera, Sennar, Zamzam Camp, and the villages of North Darfur and Al Katina, the statement read in part. Now, on Monday, February 2024, on Monday, February 24, 2025, Mudavadi defended the recent move by the government to allow the formation of a unity government by Sudanese political parties, civil society, and military groups in Nairobi, terming it as a step in the road to restoring peace in Sudan. The government would like to affirm that the Nairobi peace talks are just part of the Kenyan DNA of problem solving in the region and in the continent since its independence. From the leadership of the founding father of the nation, the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, to the second president, the late Mzee Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, the late Mzee Mwai Kibaki, President Uhuru Kenyatta, now His Excellency President William Ruto, Kenya, which has been an oasis of peace, has never shied away from offering a helping hand to its warring neighbors in the region, the continent of Africa, and across the globe. But when we look at the whole situation and the whole charade that has been portrayed by the Kenyan government today, we can't say that they are working for the betterment of Sudan. You can't, it's like you are funding the M23 in Congo. It's like you funding or allowing Boko Haram in Nigeria to form their government. That can't be the case, that we will run a republic and we interfering as a country, interfering in the matters of Sudan is something that jeopardizes our regional peace. For now, I leave it there. Tell me what you think about the claims brought against President William Ruto for his support and his involvement in transaction of businesses with the Sudanese militia general Hemedti. That's it for now. Make sure you subscribe.